Jack Frost Design, the digital agency, is proud to present iAssist, the digital way to automate SharePoint training and support. One of the common problems with SharePoint is poor adoption. Only 22% of enrolled users actively use SharePoint on a daily basis. Another issue is high support costs. Support costs are estimated to be as high as $46 per user per month, which makes it almost twice as expensive to support as Microsoft Exchange. So what's the cause of this? Well, it's poor training. 46% of employees say that poor training is the reason for poor adoption. What is the typical training model? Well, it's called the Train the Trainer strategy, and it's typically delivered as 2 or 3 day boot camps to a select group of middle managers who are told that they in turn need to train the employees underneath them in the organization. If you use Google to search for SharePoint end user training, you'll find prices and offerings like those you see on the right-hand side of the screen. The prices range from as low as $695 for a 2-day boot camp to as high as $1,425 for a 3-day boot camp. It's this high price of the training that causes the Train the Trainer strategy. With prices like these, it's not cost effective for an organization of any size to train all of their employees. So why doesn't this training strategy work? Well, because SharePoint can't be learned in 2 to 3 days. This is the scope for SharePoint introductory end user training. It runs from navigating the environment, searching, setting up alerts, to managing content in lists and libraries. All of this is necessary, but the scope is incredibly huge. Trying to learn this in 2 to 3 days is like trying to learn to speak French in 2 to 3 days. It's just not possible. Another issue is retention. The scope of SharePoint is so broad that only 10% retention in as little as 30 days is the norm. So what's the result of this? Well, the result is that 78% of staff don't use SharePoint. 46% say poor training is the reason, and thousands of dollars are wasted on training. The cost to train just 50 people averages $35,000 to $60,000. And that's not to mention the help desk and support hidden cost. When employees need to use SharePoint but don't know how, they'll contact the help desk. And this has been called the most expensive one-on-one training imaginable. Well, Jack Frost Design was in the same situation. As a company known for branding SharePoint public-facing portals and intranets, we were supporting over 45 environments that we had created for clients, and we were being buried in support tickets. We needed a better solution to address training and technical support for a SharePoint environment, because the training just wasn't sticking for us either. We were also using a train the trainer model, training a select group of middle managers and having them train the people underneath them in the organization, and it just wasn't working. We needed a solution for automating training and support. Before we designed a new approach or solution, we wanted to really understand the goals and requirements. The first one was that the training must provide a comprehensive curriculum. The scope of SharePoint is what it is, and it needs to be covered. The next issue was retention. We wanted proficiency to start high and actually increase over time. Next was cost. Cost is the real villain that causes the train the trainer scenario. We wanted a cost low enough for all employees to be trained in SharePoint, not just a select few. Last but not least is the help desk. We wanted a system that would provide free and instant answers to all of the common SharePoint questions. The answer that we came up with was to use SharePoint to support itself, to create a subsite inside the SharePoint environment, and to dedicate it to SharePoint training and support. We created a complete set of curriculum composed of short videos and loaded them into a media library in the new subsite. In order to drastically shorten the amount of time that it takes to train in SharePoint, we divided the curriculum into 3 groups based on security settings native to the SharePoint environment. There's a segment of videos for the visitors, a segment of videos for those with contributor status, and a set of videos for those with site owner status. Taking this approach means that visitors only have to learn what visitors need to know. This is a unique approach in the world of SharePoint training. Normally in 2 to 3 day boot camps, when an individual learns about document libraries, they learn everything about document libraries. As a visitor, you only need to know how to download and open a document that might be contained in a library, how to sort through that library and filter results. However, as a contributor, you need to know about checkout of documents. You need to know about version control. As a site owner, you also need to know how to create a document library in the first place, how to add metadata to it, and how to set permissions on it. By taking the unique approach that we did, visitors only need to learn what they need to know how to use. Having a training system that builds on itself allowed us to consolidate core SharePoint end user training and reduce the amount of time that it takes to deliver it by 60%. We loaded these videos into a media library and added excellent metadata. The metadata attached to each of the videos allows that video to be surfaced through search very easily in the SharePoint environment. Watched in sequence, these videos are a complete SharePoint training curriculum for end users. However, when people forget watched when searched for, this provides an excellent video-based help desk for SharePoint. Because these videos are housed in a SharePoint site dedicated to training and support, we included a discussion board for peer-to-peer support. This allows an end user to post a question that could be answered by other end users. It's expected that periodically someone from the IT department would audit these chains of discussions in order to put the cart back on the tracks. We also added a list form for evaluations. This allows the end users to critique individual videos or the educational experience as a whole. We also added a list form that allows users to request new videos to be added to the library. It's very easy for the owner of the site to establish a bar or criteria where when they received enough requests for a new video, it was obviously more cost-effective to create the video than to continue answering the questions verbally. This dedicated SharePoint training subsite is deployed like a feature in the SharePoint environment, so it takes on the look of your SharePoint branding. The branding of your top banner bar, primary navigation, secondary navigation, and the fonts and colors used for hyperlinks will be inherited by the SharePoint training subsite. Well, did we achieve our goals? Yes, we did. Adoption in intranets went up by 300%. We also experienced an 85% reduction in help desk calls. And we did achieve a cost of less than $25 per person, which allowed us to finally address the whole issue of the train the trainer model. With a cost like this, we're easily able to train everybody in an organization. And what's more, because it's video training, it's available to each individual as their schedule allows. The issue of retention was addressed because members can refresh exactly the information that they need in 5 minutes. If it's been a few months since the initial training and they find themselves in a situation where they need to create a new document library, set permissions, or add metadata, they can refresh exactly the information that they need in 5 minutes at any time of the day or night. This provides the strongest type of learning experience where you provide someone the information when they really need to use it, and it eliminates the frustration. So what if all your employees were competent in SharePoint? Thank you for viewing this brief overview about the iAssist training subsite from JFD. JFD offers weekly webinars and one-on-one online meetings to cover additional points about this product line. Additional topics include the process that we go through for scripting and designing our curriculums, how to add your own videos into the online site, the low-cost best practices version of this product, and custom versions of this product recorded using your own environment and branding, and a 7-day free trial. To make your intranet self-supporting with an iAssist training subsite, call JFD at 1-800-555-6989 or visit us at www.jackfrostdesign.com.